Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chris with the REM. And in this video, we're going to show you the importance of contrast and why it's super important for you, your brand, and your visual identity. So with that being said, we're just going to hop right into it. Let's go. All right, boom. So here it is. We're going to use our shirt as an example. One of our shirts is an example. This was like our first design. So again, you can see the Dream Bigger has actually been spelled out Dream Bigger. But this is one of our first designs. Now I'm just want to highlight the importance of contrast in this design. So I'm going to utilize this design to show you the importance of contrast and what that even is. Because you might not even be aware what contrast is. Why are we even talking about it? Is because I'll be honest with you, I'm tired of seeing people who have their brands create shirts that look like the example I'm gonna give you right here, right now. So I'm gonna show you, right? If you have a actual brand and your shirt is black, right? You more than likely have had somebody create your logo for you. If you are a new brand owner, you're the owner. Your expertise is running the business. You're not a graphic designer. You're not any of that. But you know your expertise is running your business. That's the bread and butter of your business, or that's what makes up your business. Like, you running it. You don't understand about design. You know, you have an idea of what needs to be done, but you've never done it before, right? I'm gonna take this example. I'm gonna actually put the newer version of our logo in here, just so you can see it, just flat out, right? Putting this in a smart object. We have a video on a smart object, so you can go check that out if you're interested in learning about smart objects. So here we have the Dream Bigger shirt. We have the Dream Bigger shirt design, right? Now, if your brand, let's say you have a brand and your brand already has its colors. You're like, hey, I got a logo design and my brand color is blue. This is an example I've seen more times than not, and I'm just, this is what inspired this video. My brand colors are blue. Then you go in and you put that blue on a black shirt. Pulling this over here, your brand colors are blue. You put your blue on that black shirt. Look how much contrast you've lost, right? In comparison, like, you can barely see it. If you even squint your eyes, you can barely see that it says Dream Bigger, right? Even though the thing is that I think why brand owners don't notice this, because they know what their logo looks like. But you have to put yourself in a position of somebody who knows nothing, who's never seen your logo, who knows nothing about your logo. You want them to get the greatest chance to be able to see your logo, right? If you have a navy, a darker blue logo, this is what it'll look like on a black shirt. Imagine somebody standing 20 feet, 30 feet away from you. You're not going to be able to reach this shirt. So that's why it's super important to understand contrast. See how much more that just pops off and you can read it. That's the difference between contrast and contrast is simply understanding. Let me actually pull that color thing back up. Simply understanding, like, from the white to black is the most amount of contrast you can possibly have. That's the most amount of contrast you can possibly have, white to black. So in between those times, or in between those values, there are levels of contrast, right? If you put this black on gray, again, we're like at 50% contrast, right? And you can even tell back over here, like, if you just move this black down, this is getting in the Photoshop, but if you just move this black down, we're at 25% contrast right here. We're at 13% contrast. And again, you can see the contrast. Now looking at this like 15%, this actually reminds me of probably some brands that you've seen. Like, their whole Their whole branding is around just being blacked out, but they want a little bit of contrast so you can at least see their logo. And if that's the approach you're looking or going for, then hey, more power to you, and that's how you do it. But again, if you don't have that strategy in mind, then contrast is key. I don't care what anybody say. Contrast is super, super key. Because again, we're talking about, in that example, we're talking about a black on black for an apparel, which makes somewhat sense. But again, if you are doing a post or a photo or something like that, you want people to see that actual contrast pop off the screen. You want them to be able to read, at minimum, read your logo, read your brand. So you want to have the most amount of contrast with that, right? Let's say like one of our logos here. Better yet, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Right? So that's why it's super important to establish contrast. Like, now, let me go to Google and let's see what Google has to say. What does contrast mean? You say by contrast, in contrast, something that to show you that you are mentioning a different type of situation. That's not contrast colors. I'm like, that don't even sound right. Here we go. For example, colors that are directly opposite from one another on the color wheel have the highest contrast possible, while colors next to each other have low contrast, right? So let's go to the color wheel here. Blue, you want to put that on an orange shirt. That has the most amount of contrast, right? Or vice versa. If you have orange, you want to put that on a blue shirt. Purple, you want to put that on a yellow shirt. Yellow, you want to put it on a purple shirt. Red, green, red, right? And you see it says primary complementary color. And those are already the most contrasting colors are the complementary colors. The primary colors being yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue. Complementary colors being orange, green, and purple. Right? I kind of mixed that up. The color on the opposite side is not a complementary color. Complementary colors are the colors in between the primary colors. So your primary colors being RBY, so red, blue, yellow. And then green, orange, purple are your complementary colors. So we're going to go to this little chart. High contrast colors. See if we can make this bigger. And it's showing you high contrast is from red to green. Low contrast is from this orange to like a lighter orange that's almost yellow. So you can see how the high contrast works together. Just like this. Just envision the inner square is your logo or your design, and then the outer square is the actual shirt. Again, if you're putting this design on a shirt, this design here on a shirt, you're gonna make the shirt yellow and have the highest contrast being this blue, and then a complementary color or something in the middle, right? Low contrast colors. Again, green on green, blue on blue, purple on purple, purple on lighter purple, pink, whatever, so on and so forth down the line. Now, Chris, how did you even come up with this? And I'll give you an example of how this even for me came to be, right? I was taking a speaking class, a speech class in college, and in our speeches we actually had to do PowerPoint presentations to go along with our speeches. And one of the rules of the whole speech class, one of the rules was being, when you have PowerPoint, usually it's a white slide. Do not use colors like yellow, orange, or something like that on the slide, because more than likely, and you probably been in class before yourself, but more than likely somebody in the class, I'm like, I can't read that. It's hard to see that. Things like that. It's because you have a low contrast color on a low contrast composition and all together, but you have a white on yellow, which makes it low contrast, which makes it hard to see. So again, you want to take that same mentality or take that same understanding and apply it to your brand. If you have a shirt, if you have a graphic, if you have anything that you are designing, or a photo, whatever the case may be, you want to take that same exact ideology and apply it to your designs across the board. Super important. That's why I'm making this video, because to all brand owners, it's like I just want to shake all the brand owners like, hey, fix that. That's not. And if your graphic designer is doing that, fire them. Like, let them go. Let them go. If that's your graphic designer doing that, let them go, because they don't understand the fundamentals, right? They don't understand the fundamentals of contrast colors, right? So that's how you find out what the contrast of your actual brand color is. Like, you just take the color wheel and go on the opposite side of it. So you can even say, like, our contrast would be our, let's say this is our primary color. Our contrast will probably be our secondary color. Even though that's what we started at, but I changed it up. I changed it up a little bit. I changed it up to our secondary color. But either way, that's how you want to do that. So going back to our example, you have a shirt. You can have this shirt. Let's change the shirt color. Oh, here we go. I'm like, where's it at? So let's say a bad contrast or a low contrast would be something like this. Like, I'm gonna put my white logo on a yellow shirt. Even though it does, close up, it doesn't look bad. But again, you're not maximizing the amount of contrast. But again, that example doesn't bother me as much as, again, that blue on black. The blue on black is like, don't do that. Don't do that. If you have blue in your logo, have the blue part change to white. Like, just change the blue part to white. Increase that contrast. So boom, there it is. That's why it's super important to understand contrast. If it's you, then now you understand how to utilize contrast and make the most effective, so people can see your brand. At the end of the day, you want people to be able to see, identify, and be able to consistently take in your brand, right? So you want to give them the ability to do that by increasing the contrast in all of your designs across the board. That's if you're doing it. I'm gonna give you a pass if you're doing it. But if you have a graphic designer that's not utilizing contrast and not doing those things, and you're creating shirts that are low contrast, dark blue on black, and things like that, you need to fire that designer like ASAP. Let them go like ASAP, and then go to digitalrem.com and join the Creator Academy. Get on the wait list to join the Creator Academy, where you can learn tips and tricks just like this that'll support your brand and make your brand more apparent and establish that visual identity that's super key to growing your business, growing your brand, and engaging your audience so they know who you are. So with that being said, hopefully this was valuable to you. Again, I made this video because I'm just tired of seeing the brands with the blue on black. This don't make no sense. So the blue and black is out of here. We're not doing that anymore moving forward. So if you know somebody who has that blue and black shirt, you know somebody who can utilize this information as far as for their brand, for If it be for their videos, if it be for their graphic design, their posts, or it be for their apparel brand. If you know somebody who can utilize this, by understanding it, simply share this with them. Share this with them. Comment below what you think about this video. Tell me what you think. Like, is contrast even important? Is contrast really that important? Let me know what you think, and I'm curious to know what y'all think. Like, even the example I gave, like that yellow and white was actually kind of fire, but at the same time, I know that it wouldn't maximize the visibility. Now, if I'm just trying to match some shoes to a shirt, hey, that's a totally different scenario. But if I'm trying to get the maximize the amount of visibility my brand can have on the environment around me, I'm gonna go with the highest contrast possible so people can see it from as far as they can see. They'll be able to see my brand's verbiage, the logo, the icon, whatever the design is. They're gonna be able to see that by simply understanding, like, hey, contrast is key. Contrast is key. So that being said, hopefully this inspired you to do that one thing that takes you close to go. All y'all have a blessed day. Later, y'all. Peace.